Yes, I'm also, constantly talking to, other people and saying, guys, you've got to jump on this. I can't do it at this point in time, but I think you can. And that's helping other people. What goes around comes around. We all help each other. We find deals that would benefit and value other people. It's like a mating agency, isn't it? A dating agency. We find someone who needs something and match it with somebody.
Welcome to the Buyers Agent Institute show. The purpose of the show is to bring awareness to buyers agents, to bring awareness around the career opportunities that the buyers agent sector is providing to people, to bring awareness around the value that buyers agents are providing to people who need help buying property. Our goal with the show is to strip back and dive into the remarkable journeys and stories of buyers agents who are paving the way forward in one of the fastest growing career sectors in real estate in Australia. Our guest today is Lyn Blundell from Sydney. She is new to motherhood, and one could say she is obsessed with property. She started building a property portfolio in her early 20s. She then built that portfolio into a multi-million-dollar portfolio. So Lyn really likes property. She came from a background in market research, and for a long time was, I guess, deciding whether she should get into real estate. So she did tip her toe very briefly in it, which we will discuss later on. However, she has now started her own buyers agency called Lyn Blundell Buyers Agency, where she focuses on working with owner-occupied clients and investment clients. Today, I would like to introduce Lyn. Welcome, Lyn.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, I want to kick this off by understanding, I don't have any kids. I've got 2 cats, but I feel like kids. So, new to motherhood, and then I guess running a business, how does that all work?
It's amazing. It's fun. There's a lot of work. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. From changing nappies to crying and then going on emails. It's a lot of, it's all new to me too, trying to balance and trying to juggle this life, this whole new life. But it's been an amazing journey so far. Well,
it's a new life, right? It's obviously, it's a new career. However, it's not new to you. I mean, you've been investing in property for a long time. You are a bit of a nerd with research, which we'll talk about. And so now you're representing other people. So it's not obviously like you're learning to play the piano or you're doing something, you're becoming like an engineer and you're coding or something. Like it's something that you understand, right?
Yes, it's been an early obsession. Since I was in my 20s, every weekend I'd go and sneak into one of those seminars, investment seminars, thinking one day I'm going to be rich and famous, not really rich and famous, but more I'm going to build an amazing portfolio. And so much learning has happened throughout the years, over a decade, and I'm still learning. Being amongst all other buyers agents and amongst the industry has made me, has like filled all this information in my head, and so it's so exciting, and the evolution of it. So it's great.
Good on you. No, well done, because I think it's a natural progression when someone like you who's had an interest in property, an addiction. Most people are getting addicted to coffee in their early 20s. You're getting addicted to property. I like it. But most people are who are very passionate about property. This is a very, I think, natural progression for them, because it's an extension to what you already know, and then you're getting paid for it. So, I mean, I wanted to quickly touch on one thing and I know we had a bit of a chat offline about this, and we're not going to mention any names. However, I know that you won a piece of business over a very established buyer's agent in the eastern suburbs. And I know we spoke about it. And that to me is a testament to the trust that someone has in you, even when they first meet you, around what you can deliver. So how did that feel, winning that piece of business?
I couldn't believe it. I knew in myself that I was going to deliver 100%, 120%. I was committed, I was dedicated, and I knew that I could fulfill the very specific, very unique brief. I think part of the deciding factor from my point of view was that I felt more, it was a genuine relationship and a genuine connection that I would put my heart and soul into it. And I guess, you know, I don't know what the other person would have done also, but I guess that's maybe how I came, I got the business, is that they developed the trust because I knew that I was going to work 110% to make it, to exceed their expectations.
From what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, you obviously dipped your toe, like I mentioned in the introduction, into real estate with 2012?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, most people, correct me if I'm wrong, but most people, including myself, like I always wanted to get into real estate, but I never wanted to become a real estate agent. Yes,
well, that was part of I didn't know, I knew I wanted to be in real estate ever since, but I didn't know how, and I did know how. So in 2012, I studied part-time at TAFE doing the real estate course and certification. I shadowed a top sales agent in Marrickville. Voluntarily, every Saturdays I was there shadowing him, seeing how it all worked, seeing it, calling people. But then it just never, the sales side was never really I gelled, and the salary cut was also quite significant back then, or it still is, I think, if the entry level for a sales agent or a property manager. And I think my personality is more property manager. It's just, I always thought, okay, I'll just keep going in my hobby and building that portfolio as a personal interest. And but here we are now that I had Eva, baby Eva, my little one, whilst very new. 3 months, I think, 4 months. I thought whilst I was new to motherhood, I'd have all your podcasts. I had 2 years of podcasts to listen to in the background, and so at 3 a.m. I would be listening to that and upskilling, and here I am again. So, and this is how it all happened.
It's amazing. What a story. And that's the way the universe, it works. It flows in mysterious ways, and then it connects in weird ways.
I think it was meant to be. It really was. The stars aligned, let's just say.
The stars aligned. I agree. And your personality, to me, suits more for a buyer's agent than a real estate agent. And as you're probably noticing, it's very consultative what we do. It's different to the sell side when you're acting as a selling agent. But let's talk a bit about market research, because you obviously left obviously a very good, high-paying full-time job in market research to then pursue this new business venture. That's a big call, right? To walk away and transition.
Yeah, no, but I think it was the catalyst was having Eva, and during maternity leave, I had all that time to think, this is really my true calling, my true passion. Let's explore this. But yeah, I started in market research as a research analyst, crunching numbers, finding out how many people buy certain products, and then I moved into the qualitative side, which is understanding people's motivations for buying things. It was really interesting talking to people, and then became an executive assistant to a lot of market research firms, and project management in other sectors, including transport. So I tried to diversify, but the calling had always been in real estate.
I'm assuming a lot of the stuff you've learned over your time in that role, and maybe previous roles in what you did, it's very transferable, right?
A lot of it, even the project management side, Excel, getting all the contacts from, identifying the phone book directory and updating information, things like just little things like that. Everything, and talking to people, relationship building, they're all interconnected.
Yeah, even being an executive assistant, I'm assuming, just for organisation and efficiency and systems and...
Yeah, lots of systems, lots of processes in the background to make it run by themselves.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what we're doing as buyers agents. Like, it's all about optimisation, efficiency, and, working with clients like you obviously are doing that now. It's how can we be more efficient with what we do with our time?
For sure.
So that's great that you've got so much
trying to create, creating time so that we can jump ahead of the pack when we're sourcing properties, when we're crunching the numbers and finding the best deals.
So your background, just in market research, obviously we're sourcing, as you know, for clients and doing due diligence and all that fun stuff. Do you find that it's been helpful with that background, like applying it to what you're doing now?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
They're all very similar. So we research, not even just the property, but also finding, all the real estate agents in a certain suburb, clustering it, then getting the data for, what's happening within the suburb from street level to, suburb level. So the micro and macro aspects of the research is really interesting. They all overlap.
I love it. Well, listen, I think it's great. And I mean, I think what's awesome is when skills are very transferable and how you leverage them and you bring it into a new environment and you apply it. And you're working now with owner-occupied clients and investor clients, which is obviously, it's a different experience, right? What have you learned dealing with just, obviously, I mean, people say that investment, there's no emotion, but I think that's crap. There is emotion because, there's a goal and the goal is like financial freedom or passive income or whatever it is. And if you don't achieve it, I don't think it's that helpful. So I think, have you noticed a fundamental difference between both? Yes,
for sure. I think especially for first-time investors, it seems like they treat it also, it's quite emotional. It is, let's just be fair. Apart, if you're a seasoned investor, maybe, you're looking just for the capital growth numbers and the yields. But for first-time investors, you are a bit hesitant. You don't know, even finding a buyer's agent, it's their first time buying. It's their first time trying to source a buyer's agent. How do you know you're doing anything right? And so the difference, and also for first-time buyers, they've been looking for so long and they're just so annoyed that they keep missing out. Why do they keep missing out? And even just from the color scheme and from the type of bricks, that the difference is quite a lot with investors versus home buyers. But they all feel emotional about it, I think, from my experience, my client circles. Yeah, I think there's emotion in all of it. They're big decisions, yes. Like they're big financial commitments. Like most people aren't paying cash, so whether you're an investor or owner-occupier, there's a loan behind it. So I think there's emotion, and it's daunting buying. Like it's not like every day you go and buy some toilet paper. Yeah. It's just something that you probably do once or twice in your life. And yeah, I agree. And what about like your experience now that you are a buyer's agent, you're on the phone to agents more, I'm assuming you're sourcing more, you're getting privy to a lot more stock. You're seeing stuff going, I wish that was in my portfolio, I'd like to grab that. Around, you find something and it's obviously you can't purchase it, but you want to bring someone else to the table and matchmake. I think that's one of the most brilliant parts of this role, whereby as a buyer's agent, you're monetizing what you're seeing. So if you're not a buyer's agent, let's say you're in your market research role and you come across 10 Smith Street in Summerhill and you're like, this is an incredible property. You just go, okay, incredible property. You sit there and someone's going to buy you soon. But as a buyer's agent, you're like, well, who have I got on my books? Or who can I find to introduce and make this happen? And also with all our networks, I'm on the property development network, I'm on lots of real estate student networks and the buyer's agent network. So there's a lot more people that are trying to find deals and trying to find opportunities that they might not even be seeing. And here I am going, hey guys, I've got this amazing opportunity. Like, are you in the position to go on it? And so go for it. What have you found most enjoyable about transitioning out of the employment world into business owner, buyer's agent world? Like, I'm curious to know, because I mean, I always like to ask people this because I was once an employee as well, and I know the way that I felt, and I guess I just wanted to check in with you to see how it's been for you. Oh, I absolutely love the flexibility that you're my own boss. I could be from 9 to 10 or a.m. I could be just having a little nap or having a coffee break, an extended coffee break. But then when I put the baby to sleep, then that's when systems are go. I set up for the next day, or I have evening phone calls with potential clients, or leads, do the marketing aspect or the business side of it. But also the ability to bring my little one to auctions when we're house searching, hunting, and my dog, he can't walk that far, but I put him in the pram with my little one, and we go and talk to sales agents and do our street immersions. That's quite fun.
That's cool.
That's the flexibility of having your own business.
And you can't trade that.
No. Your time is everything. You are accountable for your own time. Every single minute. If you don't have a client, or if you're not maximizing it, that's your fault. You know what I mean? So you're accountable for your time. I'm not sugarcoating it. It's hard work. I find that I'm doing 7 days, but I'm doing 7 days of my, what I want to do, and I'm loving it. So it's not even, it doesn't feel like work.
Which is like the nirvana.
Yeah, it's great.
But talking about the 7 days, you're right. Like there's a misconception that when you start a business, you work harder. However, you do also, with what we do, design your own schedule. So like you said, if you want to have a little sleep at 10 a.m, you can do that. And I think there's a lot of freedom in that. Whilst you work hard, I think there's liberation in it as well. And I think there's something special around ideating and creating and building this business, which is like it's another extension of you.
It's been fun. The journey from seeing it start from nothing and building your logo, designing what it might be, your brand personality, and how you're going to help people. It's been such a rewarding journey to be in as a new business owner.
Did you expect it to roll out this way? Whatever way is that, whatever that interpretation is for you, but did you expect it to move this way? I
didn't expect it to become as well as it's going, which was a surprise. I thought, oh, this is going to be one of those things. It's like the jigsaw puzzle idea, like, oh yeah, I'll buy a jigsaw puzzle and I'll start one and go, oh, and then it's too hard. Every day is a new challenge, and you set new challenges for yourself to succeed, and there's always goalposts that you're creating for yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like starting a business, I find, you go through it. It could be a generalization, but I think from my experience, you go through this different level of transformation, both personally and professionally. Maybe because you're not as complacent, you're getting out of your comfort zone more, you're testing yourself more, you're learning. I feel like you're also learning more, because I'll give you an example. Like if you're doing market research, not that I've done that, and I probably suck at it, but if I did that, you're quite specific day to day with what you do in terms of how the brain works. You're kind of but then when you step out of that and you're now the business owner, you're thinking about marketing, you're thinking about personal branding, you're thinking about sales, you're thinking about client management, you're thinking about communication, you're thinking about relationships, all this stuff.
All the time. You can't switch off.
Yeah.
You can't, but because it's your passion, you will never switch off anyway. It's something that's instilled in your day-to-day. You then now go into autopilot and create the processes in the background to make those things that you're thinking about more efficient. So that's also from the Buyers Agents Institute has provided me is those systems to make those things a lot easier, so easier.
Next year's obviously, this year's been an intense year. We're talking today while election in the US. It's been a crazy year, especially with obviously COVID. This pandemic, it's been a bit of a shake-up. Next year, obviously you've had a little one, but I guess is the plan just to keep it just the way it is, and just moving it at a steady pace?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's also the idea of having my own business was to create. I will create what I want to. Yeah. If I want more clients, have to do the more door knocking and more emailing and more wining and dining lots of people. So it's up to me to frame or to navigate what the future will hold. And it seems that at the moment the pace is perfect for what I want to. That work-life balance, how much time I want to have with my little one versus. With work as well. So
good on you. Well done. Like I think it's
you.
remarkable. Again, I haven't had kids, but I think to be able to spend the time while a baby's growing up, to be around constantly,
that's been really nice.
I think it's very special. And then integrating that with your work and the way your business is being built, it's phenomenal. And I think it
wouldn't have been like that without the Buyers Agents Institute, right?
Well, no, it's all you. It's all you. It's your, like you were talking about before, about responsibility and accountability and ownership, and it's all about how we show up. A lot of people spend a lot of time learning a lot of stuff and they don't really implement. So you've been responsible for execution and that stuff. So well done. Where can people find you?
You can find me on my social media, LinkedIn or Facebook, or Lyn Blundell Buyers Agency is on Google.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're going to wrap up now. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed this session. There's a lot to take in here. Specifically, I also feel around like flexibility and work-life balance, and just understanding how you can integrate that. And Lyn obviously has extensive knowledge building her own property portfolio. So if you are looking for investment properties, or even for for owner-occupied purposes, reach out to Lyn. Her details are on the screen. See you next time.